Timing is on.
So, what is this? Consideration to justification? Maybe the
These are some notes we took on this already.
Yeah. Like, so for me, the biggest issue and most direct is just simply bottom line. Like, it's super simple and easy to say, okay, let's just work on one website at a time and blah, 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 right? That's super simple to say. But if you think about it, you have SVG. We want to focus on SVG first because that's the priority. But then there's also CCC, and there's the sponsorship, and then there's the CCC outreach, and there's all these other things that are going on.
Time to transition and to wrap up.
Oh, okay. We need to start transitioning.
Time to transition and to wrap up.
I'm gonna snooze that for 5 minutes. Okay.
So no, I think we can. I mean, from our schedule for this session, we still have 1 hour to go. I think it's good we remember that. So try to get the 2 topics, and then after the break, we do the wrap up.
So you want to start wrap up at the bottom of the hour?
Yeah, after the break at the bottom of the hour, yes.
Let me see. Let me check really quick. So we want to do. Oh yeah, the open discussion. Yeah. Okay, so let's just push the wrap up to the bottom of the hour. Okay, let's do it. So bottom of the hour. Boom, boom. All right.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So from here, what I think is that we should
time to pause.
Pause. 5-second pause. All right.
So I think the best consideration here is this one. We should focus on the pipeline experience itself so that everything else goes smoothly after.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm talking about. The pipeline experience itself is multifaceted, to say the least, in relationship to Umbrella Showcase website, because it's a system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because the pipeline experience model is a system. So the model, the whole context of a system
mm-hmm.
is that a process typically goes in order from responsibility 1, responsibility 2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas a system is not necessarily in linear order. For example, with our value distribution system, we try to do one payroll at a time, but we skip sometimes. And then also there's the reimbursements that happen various times at different places depending on where you are. So it's more dynamic. Does that make sense, that a system in and of itself has more dynamic? So if you look at like let's say we go for option 2. So for option 2, we have the Umbrella Showcase website, we've got SVG, and we have sponsorship.
Uh-huh.
So between those 3 websites and showcase projects within the pipeline, they're going to be at very different places. Like SVG could be on step 7, and Umbrella Showcase website might be on step 1, whereas sponsorship's on step like 4 or 5, in the process, right? So it's like it's a little bit less cut and dry. Another example is like I already gave, you have SVG, you want to prioritize SVG, right? But you also simultaneously need to work on sponsorship and CCC, because you just can't ignore that, right? There's things that are happening on parallel trajectories, right? There are parallel trajectories going on.
Right, but so what I think is that for the Umbrella Showcase website trajectory, we should always only work one at a time. Then we have the general teamwork, where we can decide that we need to prioritize
time for breath,
some components. Breath, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling.
I just love it. It's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
me too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It's
Great.
so good.
It's amazing.
Oh man. Like, can you imagine one of these days where we get so good at our rhythm that you come out of the session rejuvenated instead of like tired of working?
Yeah, I mean, I think that starting from the next session, I mean, we have hopefully we're going to have Victoria. She's going to have pause. We won't even say like, okay, 5 seconds pause. We just do it, right? We let
I don't think Victoria is happening. Victoria
yeah,
is just not is not really interested. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's a
It's
bump.
very
I mean,
unfortunate.
but Adam with the lower voice, it's working. I'm not getting scared, so it's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
Time to
Adam is
transition
not
and to
nice
wrap
to
up.
me.
So
Adam is not nice to me. Adam is not nice to me.
Adam is taking over. I don't
yeah,
know what's
it's
going
not
on.
it's not nice to me too, Victoria. Don't worry, we're together on this. Yeah, but anyways, I was saying that, like, for example, it's already happening with CCC, because I mean that's a high priority also for other work into other umbrella trajectories. So there's the place that we can decide to prioritize something, some components at least, or some segments of
Yeah. Well,
or
let me
sub
give
trajectories.
another example.
Yeah.
So another example would be like we're talking about how it's all about the pipeline, right? The pipeline is priority.
Yeah.
So another example would be that we get agreement. We know we want to prioritize SVG. We want to go through the pipeline review of SVG, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We want to get the 2 over completed, right? Then simultaneously, it's essential for us to deal with the identity of the Umbrella Showcase website and make sure that we have clarity on the entity that oversees all of this. And that really is a separate trajectory. That is part of the pipeline, and it's specifically part of the pipeline related to the Umbrella Showcase website. So it's like you're technically speaking, if you're going to look at the identity, you're doing both SVG and identity at the same
Time for pause.
time. All right. Pause. Second. So what I'm trying to say here is that the pipeline is more dynamic than just, okay, you're only working on one at a time, right? There's always more projects happening. Another way of looking at it, okay, like let's say we agree to option 2, and option 2 has a pipeline of three things in the pipeline, right? I would like to propose, if we're doing these option 2 and we have 3 pipeline components, that we make an agreement that every week we have one pipeline session, right? So we're focusing on our launch, but even during the launch, that one session per week, we work on the pipeline for future work, right? So in that one session, the priority for 1 week might be the co-op equity, right? The next week it could be the life support or org support, right? Org support page, right? And then a week after that, it might be a specific campaign for raising $1,000 or whatever, right? So the idea is like, week by week by week, it's might change the priority of what we want to focus on in the pipeline. It doesn't mean that we just automatically launch the pipeline, but it's like the idea is that there might be some jumping around depending on the priorities, and to never ever work on the co-op simply because we're required to completely finish life support first, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. So
So
maybe
for
I didn't
me,
express myself well. When I
yeah,
say one at a time, I'm specifically referring to the website work. So for me, it's perfectly fine, and I don't see how this cannot happen. That we spend time every week also on the bigger picture, planning coordination, looking forward, looking ahead, right? Absolutely. That's why we are saying two to three sessions per week on the for the website. I mean, I'm talking exclusively about the website work, right? So we work on one website at a time, but then of course all the websites are connected into the bigger the identity and the guiding documents and the co-op for sure. So this was what I meant. Right.
I feel like our policy is a little bit more like
Time to stretch.
Oh, we gotta stretch. I think our policy is a little
Time
bit
to
more
stretch.
based on within a session you focus on one specific work topic at a time, right? That's the way that our model is. Anyways, quick stretch, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess, I mean, let me just kind of, I think what we need is we need a policy. We need a basically a quick reference guide. Quick reference guide on our existing policies and new policies in reference to the Umbrella Showcase website launch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that some of our existing policies apply. I think we might have some new policies, but either way, they're going to be applied to the Umbrella Showcase website, which makes it a little different than what it was before. So for me, the primary policy is that during a session, basically a buddy team work session, there must be a focus on a single priority at a time, right? We always have that each topic, one topic at a time, one priority at a time for a work session. That's basically our primary policy, right? From there are specific priorities made within the organization that require verification before moving on to the next priority. So examples for this are payroll, right? One payroll at a time, 1 month at a time, right? And sometimes with taxes, it's, one org at a time, etc. But even with the one org at a time, we do make a couple bendable things depending on, doing W8s, W9s, 1099s. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of flexibility in there, even with the one org at a time. But when you get focused on it, you're working on one org at a time. But within the taxes, there might be parallel orgs going on for completing the taxes by the deadline for all of the orgs that are involved, right? Like the trust and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean,
5-second pause. All right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, for example, for the taxes is one organization at a time. But for example, in the same session, you can have the sub trajectory that is 1099s, and you do one topic on ASCOB, and then you do one topic on WSTC, and
yeah, but that's during a session, the buddy team session, that must be focused on a single priority at a time. That's the policy. That's the primary policy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think these are things you could even add to our policy essence database,
Yeah. I mean, my concern is the following: that, I mean, we pass option 2, and then there is I mean, for me, is what is very important that happens with the pipeline is the soft launches. So we make sure that we soft launch as quickly as possible any websites, right? So also because it could help us to have one website soft launch to do a better soft launch or over launch later. So like testing if we're doing things the right way or wrong. So for me, it's very important. I mean, it's definitely fine and makes sense that we work on the bigger picture and different trajectories during the week. But what for me it's very important that we all are focused on getting one website at a time ready and done.
I think another
So at least we make sure that.
Yeah, you want to finish?
Yeah.
I think another policy.
No, we make sure that at least one website is launched.
But the whole point of the Umbrella Showcase website launch is that we're launching. In this, if for option 2 we're launching 3 websites, for option 4 we're launching 6 websites simultaneously. That's the whole point, right? Or am I missing something? Right. So for option 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 websites for option 4. So we would launch all 6 of these websites simultaneously. For option 2, we would launch 3 websites simultaneously.
Yeah.
The soft launches,
yeah,
sure.
I mean, for me,
we've already done soft launches, and we can continue
Time
to do
for breath.
Right. You want to do this one?
Time for
exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. I mean, let's get first, I think, on the same page what we mean with soft launch, right? Because soft launch for me is the following. I mean, when we're working on the website, it's already online, right? So anybody can already go and see it. What I mean for soft launch is that we get to a point where we agree that website is launched. It's good like this. We're not going to be doing any modifications until we get to a point where we decide there's something that needs to be done because maybe it comes up by doing the next website. But for me, that's the soft launch. I mean, I wouldn't do any communication, any announcement. The soft launch is an internal decision that website is ready, finished, boom, and we move to the next one.
I mean, for me, the soft launch is a little bit different. For me, the soft launch is it's more like the 2-over, right? So we want to complete the 2-over for SVG. At that point, once the SVG 2-over is completed, I don't mind even, we can just set up the LinkedIn, right? And have a little in public and social media interaction. We could even do a couple of small posts or something like that. But it's like what we're not doing is there's no advertising. There is no like, purposeful posting outside of like normal segmentation or whatever. Normal segmentation, like we're not trying to purposely advertise, right? Either internally or softly, but we can do word of mouth, and talk to people, especially within our network, and people who know us already, right? And anyone that they know. So it can definitely still spread and evolve and expand.
I agree with you. I mean, for me, the soft launch is what we agreed that the website is done, and we can include to. I mean, for me, that setting up the LinkedIn is part of having the website completed, right? What's the point of having a website?
Sure, but for me, the 2-over is not. For me, the 2-over is not
pause.
5 seconds. For me, the 2-over is not a completed website. It's just the 2-over. It's just like getting something presentable Same thing with the CCC website. Like we're just doing a quick CCC website. We're paying $200 because we're doing it quick. If we're doing CCC completely and getting it functional, we would want to not be paying $200 for it. It either needs to be on the Google sites or it needs to be on a WordPress or something. Like a $200 Wix is ridiculous, right? But we're doing something quick and fast.
Yeah,
so, functional, and so we can do a soft launch. I think we're at like 10 minutes on this.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Yeah, I mean, I never said that the 2 over means 2 over done is the soft launch. What I mean is that the soft launch is that we all do when we do the priority work. We know when we have agreement. All right, this is launched. We do couple of posts, then whatever happens. But we focus on the next website now. Get the next website done. Regarding CCC, I mean, it's already a top priority because it's influences also the nonprofit budget. Also, Mel is prioritizing it. So we're already prioritizing that, but outside of the umbrella showcase website trajectory, as part of the general teamwork, as part of the recruitment, as part of the CCC board setup. I think for me, it's very good to keep everybody concentrated and on the same page, to be working on one website at a time. Then when we finish the work, we all have an agreement the work is finished. We soft launch with, as you just said, couple of posts, word of mouth, say, okay, this website is ready. We can already provide these services. We're already providing the service. So, I mean, you can go, you can give it to our inner circle contacts, whatever, right? But I think it's also beneficial that we make sure that there's going to be, before the launch, we are going to have these soft launches, because the soft launches are going to also help us a lot in testing our websites, in testing the public reaction, doing some assessment before.
For me, another difference between a soft launch and a hard launch is that the soft launch doesn't require agreement, right? So with word of mouth,
Time to take a break.
we can go talk to somebody,
Time to take a break.
Okay. We'll take a break soon. I want to just go over a little bit here since we're trying to wrap up here, but what I was going to say is just like, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
you said for you the soft launch doesn't need agreement.
It doesn't need agreement for sure. Like, it's like, you can just talk to people and get people interested in what's going on, and it's fine. It's like people might be interested, but they might not. It's like, it is what it is. But the point that I'm trying to make is that for me, I would like to see more of a trajectory model, right? So another policy we have in relationship to the trajectories is that, our whole trajectory model, the trajectory model is all about the North Star, right? It's all about the prime trajectory. Everything comes back to the prime trajectory. Everything points towards the prime trajectory, but it doesn't mean that you're only allowed to work on the prime trajectory and nothing else until the prime trajectory is done, right? There's a very big difference between that, right? Where it's like, right, if we have more of a trajectory model, it's like, okay, everybody understands this is the website we're currently focused on as the prime website, the primary focal point of what we want to get done. But that website connects to every other website that we're doing, and they're all connected together. And therefore, we need to understand that there will be priorities that happen in the process where we need to focus on another website, but then eventually we'll shift to the prime website to be a different website,
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to work on a website that's not the priority website, that's okay, as long as you have permission and there's a reason for it. Like if you have justification and a reason of why this needs to come before finishing, for example, SVG or whatever website we agree on, then that's okay. But why? Like, what is your justification for doing it? For example, with CCC, we have a very clear justification. We need to get the budget. We need to get the nonprofit budget set up. We need to do that to move forward so that we are functional. We have a justification for why we would simultaneously work on both the primary website as well as the CCC website. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. I mean, we want to be flexible, right? We want to address the situations based on the environment, external conditions. If something comes up and we agree that we need to prioritize something parallelly I'm fine with that, right? As long as we have clear intention and agreement. But as a starting point, we should be very focused in completing one website at a time. So one website at a time. The whole team is working on one website at a time until we are all agreed that okay, the work on the website on this website is finished. I mean, I agree with you. The website is online, so if a client comes, it's amazing. We wouldn't say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, we didn't launch yet." No. I mean, let's do that. I mean, perfect. No problem. What I would like is that we all agree to be very focused in getting one website finished, and we go to the next one during the umbrella showcase website sessions, and then we can prioritize something else or some other website work on the general teamwork sessions, or even on the client sessions, because something comes up and it's important that we also prioritize that as well.
Yeah, so for me, the policy would be something like this. This is line 54, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we focus on a primary website and pipeline as a team, right? And then we could continue to work on other websites and pipelines as long as there is agreement, as there is justification and agreement to do so, right? For the assigned work. So basically, just like trajectories, the team can change the primary website focus at any time. Whatever the team agrees to being the primary website can be changed at any time. There's no requirement for quote, complete the primary website before you're allowed to go to the next website. The team is empowered to choose whatever the primary website is at any time, and the team, if they chose to get agreement on a dual website model, they could go to a dual website model, even a tri website model. But the point is that we want to have a focused primary website. And as long as everybody agrees to that, that's fine. But the moment that people don't agree to that anymore and we want something else, the policy should allow for that flexibility. You know what I mean?
I perfectly agree with that. Yeah, because but this still would still we would still be working on one at a time, because this is the primary focus website. Okay, now we need to change the primary focus web. Perfect, but the whole team and the whole trajectory shifts on that focus until we can then decide to finish that first and go back to the
End of break. Time to start.
So we missed the break.
Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should definitely do a break.
And if we decide to do the dual website, I mean, if necessary, I'm okay with that. As long as we agree and we say it's necessary, we need to do that. Yeah, perfect. No problem.
Yeah. So for me, it's just it's very, very important to focus on both the website and the pipeline experience and the entity itself. Like, I don't see any difference. Like, this whole idea that you can just like magically work on the website separately from the pipeline experience and the actual existence of the program. For me, the website is simply a reflection of what actually exists, right?
Time to transition and to wrap up.
We don't need like a silly website that doesn't represent anything because there's actually nothing that exists, right? That's not what we want or need. It's all about value, and the value comes from the pipeline experience model and building the entity, building the purpose, building the mission, building the vision, building the services and the ideas and all of it as a team, getting agreement, understanding on it, and then presenting that on the website. Like the website for me is the easy part. You just present what exists. You just present the story that you're telling, right? It's not about going to a website and making shit up, right? And like, oh, we're just going to make up a bunch of stuff and put it on the website. That doesn't, there's no value in that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jay, and I mean, I agree with you that we can work on the pipeline experience, we can work on the identity, we should do that. What I'm thinking is that we should also make sure that we complete every website as fast as possible, because we need also the income that this website can bring us, right? So if we vote option 2, for me it would be very good that we agree. All right, so SVG, let's get that SVG finished as fast as possible. Let's get it there. Okay, SVG is done. Then let's do the sponsorship website. Let's do it as fast as possible. Done. And then we concentrate on the umbrella website. But in the meantime,
so I mean, for me, I'm just
Time
gonna
to
have
pause.
to. All right, let's take a 5-second pause here.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just gonna have to disagree respectfully, just because I think everything's just a little bit more dynamic. So in relationship to the launch and the whole idea of the Umbrella Showcase website, and the fact that our Umbrella Showcase website is our prime trajectory, right? Everything needs to come back to that. The current situation we're in is slightly different than just, oh, we're just like launching one website and that's, we just need to do it as fast as possible. Because SVG is not just SVG. It's the Umbrella Showcase website. We're showcasing SVG as part of that. And the whole experience is the vision of understanding what that all means. Like what the SVG website is going to look like might actually change slightly depending on what we agree to and understand for the Umbrella Showcase website. I don't see how it would go the other way around. Like we already did, 90% of the SVG website is already complete. I don't see how finishing the Umbrella Showcase, the SVG website is in any way going to change the outcome of the Umbrella Showcase website. But the other way around has significant potential changes to SVG. And so what I'm trying to say is that for me, the project is the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the current project is the Umbrella Showcase website. It consists of 3 sub websites. It consists of the Umbrella website itself. It consists of the SVG website, and it consists of the sponsorship website minimally for option 2. So just an example for option 2. Option 4, there's 6 sub websites, right?
Uh-huh.
But in that context, for me, the launch and the launch agreement and the whole plan is really just one thing. And we need to complete that whole thing, right? The pipeline is a little different, where maybe you could do one at a time through pipeline, but even then, there needs to be some flexibility. But what I'm trying to say is that I actually fundamentally disagree that the best use of our time is to do everything as fast as possible and pump out the websites as fast as possible. I think that actually it might be much, much more advantageous to take our time and to breathe and relax and really get focused on what matters the most, which in my opinion would be the experience. But the experience is what we're selling, right? We're selling the experience for people to join something as clients, as investors, as members, as workers, as contributors. It's an experience.
Time for breath.
And that's what we're selling. And I think that's what the focus should be.
Time to transition and to wrap up.
breath. Let's do a breath.
Yeah.
Time to transition and to wrap up.
Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. I mean, I'm open, Jay. I'm open. I don't. I see the benefits that you're exposing, and let's see. I mean, let's see how it goes. Let's see what the trajectory brings us. I'm definitely open. I see now what you
Okay.
want to make clear.
Can I
Absolutely,
say one
and
more thing?
it makes sense. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So another example would be like, okay, what I think is going to make us the most successful and the
Hmm.
most functional in the way that you're going to not only have an amazing experience, but also produce the most valuable output and results and deliverables of these websites and the entire entities and organizations that support the value that is presented on these websites is the process. The process is the fundamental and foundational way that you achieve the goal as efficiently, effectively, as valuable, and as quickly as possible with the most value. Because it's not about doing things as quickly as possible. It's about doing them as quickly as possible while maximizing value. If you get rid of all the value and you just do it fast, it's not helpful, right? You want to do it. You do want to do it as fast as you can with the maximum value, which for me means the process, right? The process is what keeps us on track, make sure that we're moving forward, gets us deep into the experience, and simultaneously achieves the maximum value while doing all of that in the most efficient way possible, right? And that is why the pipeline process is so essential and why we prioritize it as one of the most high, it's basically our highest priority that isn't in the umbrella website itself, if that makes any sense. So in the context of that process, another way of putting it is the way that we're the most successful is by following the policies. By following our policies, we will be the most successful possible. And just going into the process one step at a time. That's what's gotten us where we are now. That's what will get us moving forward in the future. That is like the best possible option for all trajectories. And my concern about creating a policy that says you're only allowed to work
Time
on.
to pause.
Let me finish the sentence. My concern about working on a policy that says you're only allowed to work on one website at a time and no one's allowed to work on anything else and it has to be completed before you go into the next and is simply that we're not going to follow that policy, right? And if we're just breaking that policy over and over again, especially in relationship to the pipeline experience, because I think they're this one and the same. I don't see any difference between a website and the actual entity that you're building. I don't see how creating a policy that's going to be hard to follow and that we're going to be breaking all the time. I don't see how that's going to bring us to success. So that's my concern. Does that make sense?
Totally sense. Yeah, yeah, I agree. We should be flexible.
It's much better to create a process
Mhm.
and policies that we know we can follow and that we're following for specific reasons and they're justified, even if those processes and policies are slightly more complicated because they're real, you know? All right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's focus on the process and the policies related to the process instead of the work output.
All right. So, I mean, I think that is our number one policy here. So our number one policy regarding the Umbrella Showcase website launch is follow the pipeline experience model process number one. That's the magic. That's what allows us to. So even if we get sidetracked, like if we all agree, okay, we're going to focus on either Umbrella Showcase website or on Umbrella on the SVG or whatever. Even if we get sidetracked a little bit, as long as we know exactly where we are in the process of whatever we're getting sidetracked on, it's going to be okay, right? So for example, CCC as an entity, even though it's a sub-component of sponsorship program, really needs to be embedded into the pipeline experience model in process number 1 immediately,
Time to transition and to wrap up.
because that's what's going to get us successful with it, you know? So I feel like every single sub campaign, you know, we need like a little mini process number 1, right? You have process number 1 for like the big entities, and then you have all the sub entities that also need to be within that process as well. And as long as everything is within the process, we're going to be fine. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so if you're simultaneously working on SVG and you're also spending a little time on CCC, as long as we know exactly where they're both in the process and that we're following the process, it's going to be okay. Which means that really, before we can work on anything, we need to focus on the pipeline experience model itself and the
Time
process.
to stretch.
And then
Time to stretch.
from there, we can do everything really, really well. You know, so I think we're pretty clear on how we want to move forward. That until we feel good about the process, and kind of taking a pause with everything and stopping to review what happened with SVG and how we want to improve upon it. We really shouldn't even like in another way to say it, like if we go back to this policy model for the trajectory model, I think our primary trajectory model when we get started with this is that we should get agreement, right, proposed to the team about the first website to focus on, first website / pipeline to focus on is none at all. And then instead
let's take this
focus
stretch.
on the pipeline experience model process number 1. Yeah, let's take a stretch, and then I'm pretty much ready for doing wrap.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Amazing. Yes, I mean, this for me was always implicit. Absolutely. We said it very clearly. Once we have the cutoff, we stop everything and we focus on building the process.
Yeah. So I think that is really our primary focus. And it's not called a prime trajectory. We should have a better vocabulary term for it. So vocabulary for our team focus, you know, team umbrella website, focus website, team focus or something. I don't know. Whatever we want to call it. But anyways, the idea is that the very first thing we focus on is not the website. It is this process. And that would also mean, in my perspective, that would automatically change the scheduling for, and this is going into the wrap up, the scheduling for a Thursday, Friday, Hydra Hour 3 would automatically be this process setup. So instead of website work.
Time to pause.
All right, 5-second pause. Instead of website work, it would actually be the pipeline process model. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to add that here. Is that okay?
Yeah. You're already in the wrap up?
I'm just actually in the team schedule. I'm updating the team schedule to represent this new context of the website work would evolve. It's really based on the, and that actually might change to another trajectory, right? So there's some type of team focused trajectory here that is not the prime trajectory, but it's like a similar, you know, trajectory. Okay, so I don't know what we want to call it, but I think this is a new trajectory or trajectory type. that we need vocabulary for. And whatever we agree to as a team would be our focus. And then our first website basically is not a website. and so it's so interesting how that allows us to do that, because the trajectory model is so flexible. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
So this is an important proposal.
Mhm.
And it would be great to have some sort of, I think it's a different trajectory. I think it's basically like, we could call it the website/pipeline. We could call it the Umbrella Showcase website pipeline trajectory, right? That this trajectory is an agreed upon trajectory based on the team agreement. You know what I mean? I don't know what we want to call it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, let's get the agreement first from the team that we're on the same page to do that, and then we will review our trajectories for the Umbrella Showcase website.
Awesome. Sweet. So I think we are finally ready to wrap up.
Yes.
Yes.
So the schedule, we did it before as well. So we have the main session tomorrow, Andromeda H3. Before we have website work, Hydra H3. You're not scheduled, so I see. I'm gonna be available already, but let's see if the rest of the team is gonna show up. And
Time for breath.
right.
Exhaling. And inhale together. And exhale.
Cool.
So as far as meeting the upfront pay stop deadline, when does that happen? So this is the virtual envelopes upfront pay stop deadline. That like happening in Sonic, Hydra? Are we gonna miss the deadline? What does that look like? And what is scheduled for Hydra anyways? Let's see what's scheduled for Hydra. So Hydra tomorrow is the website work. So I think Hydra hour 3 tomorrow is pipeline process model or the umbrella, or the doing the taxes.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the deadline is in 4 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh no, it's today's Wednesday. It is today, yes. So yeah, if we end up on upfront on half pay stop, that's okay. But I think you could take care of that half pay stop tomorrow morning for Hydra hour 3, and then that'll get completed. So then we won't be on half pay stop for the main session.
Yeah, it depends. I have one virtual envelope ready. I need to do the other one, but I already checked already verified the addresses. So it's just a matter of putting together the virtual envelope. So I'm gonna be sending that on Discord to you. If you want to schedule, I'm available later, or if you can just review it.
I've already looked at everything. I think that all the virtual envelopes are going to be fine. So for me, my focus is just getting the virtual envelope accounting done so that I can transfer the funds, so that you can just do it and the upfront pay stop. Or the half pay stop. So for me, I feel like overall my priority in this situation is like, just send a message to the team, be like, look, if anyone wants to step up to prevent upfront pay stop or prevent half pay stop, let me know. We can prioritize for Hydra hour 3 when we're already scheduled to make that happen. Otherwise, we're going to be on half pay stop for tomorrow during main session and, for the next couple days until someone wants to prioritize. So I'm fine if you don't want to prioritize it unless someone else prioritizes it. So that would be my recommendation. Otherwise, it's just like, get it done. Let me know how much money to transfer and then send it, and it's going to be fine.
Time to pause.
Second pause.
Time to.
Yeah. You were saying?
I mean, Jay, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be prioritizing. I'm gonna send you the estimate for the accounting, and if there is enough, maybe there is some funds to send these virtual envelopes. I'll send them. I mean, I'm not gonna be expecting anything from anybody else. So
I mean, if you want to prioritize it, that's fine. I mean, just take care of it. I mean, I think that's the priority for tomorrow morning, Hydra Hour 3, and just basically before the main session. If we can just like async, get that done, transfer the funds for the taxes accounting. I mean, it shouldn't take longer than what, an hour and a half, right? And then that just all happened before the main session. The main session we are so prepared for the main session tomorrow. It's pretty amazing. So we're in a really good spot. All right.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna prioritize and see how it goes. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we did the work, so
Look, these
let's see.
notes are amazing.
Yes, the rhythm is really
Yeah, the rhythm is amazing. Like it's like
very,
what I love about it so much is that even when we don't follow the rhythm, like right there it got a little contentious and we're like right in the middle of it and we reached the climax of the most important part of the meeting, right? And it was like, okay, this is what needs to be figured out to get on the same page. The rhythm was still happening, everything was happening so fast, it was like break and then pause and then da-da-da-da. It's just like, but at the same time it was like it was flexible enough to just allow us to continue to go. It didn't force us to do anything. And then we knew we were breaking policy, but we were doing it for a reason that, we needed to continue in that moment. You know what I mean? So I thought all that worked really well. And then the other great part is that because it's the alarm system instead of the timer system, all my timers went out the window when we got all like focused and into the session and like actually trying to make a decision and proposals. All the timers went out the window, and the only reason we got back on to the rhythm is because of the alarm. So it just shows how the alarm system is much better than just the timers, because my timers were gone at that point.
no, and then it's just automatic, and we have started to do it only. What is this, the second session? And it's already like, I don't know. So, and the point is that it's like 2 hours, but I don't know. I feel like 5 minutes. It's like, well, I don't know, really.
Yeah, it definitely
I feel great. I feel great.
Thing better, like I feel like I can.
Time to take a break.
Oh, time to take a break.
Time to take a break.
So, I mean, I'm technically down to take a 6-minute break right now and then come back and finish the wrap up and the policy keeping and the priority work if we want to. Otherwise, I'm also down to just stop right now and then we're done.
No, let's do that. Let's take the break and do the wrap up well and everything. Finish.
Okay, yeah. So let's take a 6-minute break. We'll come back. We can continue to finalize the wrap up and the follow up.
Sweet. Okay, 6-minute break.